And now, hidden from sight for over 2 millennia, ancient steps have been unveiled at the renowned ancient Pool of Siloam in Jerusalem, a site of profound significance in both the New and Old Testaments.
For nearly 2,000 years, the steps of an ancient pool lay buried beneath the streets of Jerusalem. No one imagined what slept below. But now, after centuries of silence, the earth has given up its secret. And what Israeli archaeologists just uncovered could rewrite the story of faith itself. Because this isn't just stone and water. This is the place where miracle met reality, and the evidence can no longer be ignored. What exactly did they find beneath the dust of Jerusalem? And why does it challenge everything skeptics once believed? Beneath the bustling streets of Jerusalem, workers once dug through the earth to repair a simple sewer line. It was just another day, until the sound of metal against stone echoed through the tunnel. The machine had struck something ancient. As the dust settled, faint outlines appeared, steps, carved perfectly into the rock. The workers called in archaeologists, and within hours, the site was sealed off. What began as routine construction had become a race against time. Piece by piece, the ground revealed the contours of a massive pool, unlike anything they expected. Whispers spread through the excavation team. Could this be the Pool of Siloam, the same place described in the Gospel of John? But as they cleared more soil, the scale of what they uncovered began to defy belief. Because this pool wasn't small, it was monumental, and what lay beside it would shake both history and faith. Long before Jesus walked the streets of Jerusalem, the Pool of Siloam was already a witness to history. Nearly 3,000 years ago, King Hezekiah faced invasion from the mighty Assyrian army. To protect his people, he ordered a tunnel carved through solid rock, channeling water from the Gihon spring into the city. That stream ended here in the Pool of Siloam. It was not just a reservoir, it was a promise of survival. Prophets spoke of these gentle waters. Isaiah rebuked Israel for rejecting them, for trusting the power of empires instead of the quiet flow of God's provision. When Nehemiah rebuilt Jerusalem after exile, he mentioned this very pool, near the king's garden. Through centuries of war, exile, and ruin, Siloam endured, silent, waiting beneath the dust. But its greatest moment would come when a man with no sight was told to wash in its waters. In the days of Jesus, the Pool of Siloam became the stage for a miracle that would echo through eternity. A man blind from birth had never seen the sky, the sun, or the faces of those he loved. Into this darkness, Jesus knelt, spat on the ground, and made clay with his hands. Then, with a simple command, he said, "Go, wash in the Pool of Siloam." Obediently, the man stumbled down the carved steps and immersed himself in the waters. When he lifted his head, light poured into his eyes for the very first time. Colors, shapes, the city itself, all of it flooded his vision. The people around him gasped. Some rejoiced, others doubted. For centuries, skeptics would claim this story was myth, but the stones beneath Jerusalem had been waiting to tell a different truth. For centuries, the story of the Pool of Siloam and the blind man's miracle was dismissed as legend. Scholars and skeptics said John's Gospel was symbolic, written too late to be historical, a tale meant to teach moral lessons rather than report fact. Pilgrims visited pools in later centuries, but no one knew if they were the true site Jesus had walked. Generations passed, and the steps of Siloam faded beneath rubble and dust. The pool that once flowed with life became a footnote in history books. Yet even in silence, the memory persisted. Ancient stones beneath Jerusalem held secrets, waiting for someone to look closely enough, to dig deep enough, to uncover what had been hidden. And when they finally did, in the summer of 2004, what emerged was nothing short of astonishing. In the summer of 2004, city workers in Jerusalem were digging to repair a sewer line when their machine struck something solid. At first, it seemed like just another obstacle, but as the dust cleared, the faint outline of carved steps appeared, steps that had been hidden for nearly 2 millennia. Archaeologists were called in immediately. One glance and a veteran expert knew this was no ordinary find. This was the Pool of Siloam, the very place described in John's Gospel. The initial 2 steps soon revealed more: a massive trapezoidal pool, its perimeter lined with sets of descending steps, large enough to hold thousands. Jewish and Roman coins embedded in the plaster confirmed the date: the 1st century. This was the pool as it had existed in Jesus' time, and what they uncovered next would change everything historians and skeptics thought they knew. As the excavation continued, the Pool of Siloam unfolded in all its grandeur. It was massive, a trapezoidal reservoir stretching over 225 feet, with 3 sets of 5 steps descending into the water at different levels. Worshippers in Jesus' time could enter at any point, depending on the water level, performing purification rituals as generations had done before them. Embedded in the plaster were coins, Jewish and Roman, dating precisely to the 1st century. These small pieces of metal confirmed what the Gospel described. The pool was not legendary. It was real. Every stone seemed to speak, every step a silent witness to the miracles and the people who had walked there. But the most astonishing revelation wasn't just the pool itself. It was what lay beyond, leading directly to one of Jerusalem's holiest sites. As archaeologists uncovered more, they revealed a paved road leading from the Pool of Siloam directly to the Temple Mount, the ancient Pilgrim Road. For centuries, Jewish worshippers would bathe in the pool to purify themselves, then ascend these very stones, singing psalms as they approached God's holy sanctuary. Imagine the blind man, newly healed by Jesus, stepping onto these worn stones, eyes wide with wonder, seeing the city for the first time. Imagine the disciples walking beside him, teaching as they climbed, the echoes of their voices mingling with generations before them. The grooves in the stones still tell the story of countless feet, a silent witness to devotion, faith, and miracles. If the pool and road were real, then what else the Gospel described might not just be a story, but history waiting to be uncovered. The discovery of the Pool of Siloam and the Pilgrim Road sent ripples through the worlds of history, archaeology, and faith. For skeptics, it was a blow. A site long dismissed as legend now stood as undeniable evidence of the Gospel's accuracy. The coins, the steps, the paved road, all pointed to a story grounded in reality. For believers, it was electrifying. The blind man's miracle was no longer just a parable. It was a tangible event, etched into stone and water. Every skeptic argument that John's Gospel was symbolic lost weight. The very foundations of faith gained new strength. This was more than archaeology. It was proof that history and Scripture could meet, that faith need not fear evidence, and that the miracles recorded in the Bible had a place in the world we can still see today. But the story doesn't end here, because even now Jerusalem still holds secrets that could astonish the world. The Pool of Siloam, hidden for nearly 2,000 years, has emerged once more, not as a relic of legend, but as living testimony to the events recorded in Scripture. The stones, the steps, the coins, the Pilgrim Road, all speak a story that cannot be denied. Every discovery challenges the claims of skeptics, Every groove in the stone whispers of miracles and devotion. Every drop of water carries the memory of eyes once opened to light. The Gospel of John was not crafting allegory. It was recording history. And in doing so, it reminds us that faith and evidence are not enemies. They are companions pointing toward truth. Yet Jerusalem's earth still hides secrets, waiting for those willing to uncover them. If the Pool of Siloam could emerge from dust and time, what other truths lie buried beneath the city's stones? What other miracles, recorded or forgotten, await rediscovery? The question is no longer whether these stories are real. The question is whether we are willing to see them, to believe not only with our hearts, but with open eyes, and to recognize that history, faith, and revelation are often closer than we think. And perhaps, somewhere beneath Jerusalem, the next stone is already beginning to whisper.